Hey guys, we're on with NPS Focus. It's been about a week or two since we've been on, so y'all are in trouble tonight because we got a lot to catch up on. Ain't that right, Candy?
Yes, it is.
So we have switched for months, and last time you guys got to visit with us, we were talking about aliens and UFOs and wrapping that up. Now we are moving on to ancient mysteries. Yes, it is paranormal. Before anybody gets started, it is paranormal. So we are going to introduce our department chair with NPS for Ancient Mysteries. You guys have seen Shannon on the DNS live show, so we'll go ahead and have her give a shout out, introduce herself, and then we're going to talk about Ancient Mysteries tonight. We're going to talk about some of the stuff you guys have been seeing on the page. So Shannon, take it away.
Hello. I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
Well, introduce yourself and tell people, kind of, it's been a while since you've been on the show and kind of said who you were as a rep, so kind of give your background. I know you've been having a lot of fun going on.
Like Sherry said, I'm the Ancient Mysteries Department Chair, which is next to Ghost is one of my favorite things. I love anything old and unexplained. I've been an NPS rep for 6 months now, I think, and I haven't quit yet. So
yeah, notice how she said yet.
They keep giving me more stuff to do because I'm gonna have to start misbehaving.
We'll just take away your flogger.
No. I do have my own group. My husband and I have our own group, and we've been filming a TV show that PBS is interested in. So we've been having a lot of fun working with that, and that's basically about it. The NPS page has been keeping me busy the last couple of weeks.
Well, and we just recently named Shannon an assistant alternate director, so she's really busy now. She's in Allen.
I've become Sherry's sounding board during the day when I'm at work.
It's kind of funny because we start off in the morning. Shannon's like, okay, I need to vent or I need to chat. And so, we chit chat. And then in the afternoon, I'm like, okay, I need to vent, I need to chat. We just kind of pass the baton.
And then when I can't find Sherry, I bug Candy.
Then you know it's bad because Candy's like, damn it, Sherry, where are you?
Hey, I answer those messages. I do. It may not be in a timely fashion for everyone. I do live in the sticks, and I mean the sticks. As a matter of fact, sticks enough that the deer are eating all my flowers.
Oh my God.
Pissing me off.
Put something out for them to eat.
What, the dog?
I don't know.
That.
Deer meat's actually not too bad.
Oh, we've got a freezer full of elk meat and venison. I mean, it's not. It's there's really no sport in running out your front door and hitting it in the head with a beer bottle. Put that down. Seriously. So I mean, anytime I go anywhere, it's like an hour and a half drive. I mean, it's an hour and a half to the nearest Walmart. Our store, our grocery store, is about 2 Circle K's put together. Is about the size of it.
Oh my gosh.
So when I'm saying I'm on the road, it's because I have no other choice if I want.
Candy's making that plan. Okay, do we want dinner this week? Okay, I need to get out and get that. Do I need to get gas while I'm out? Do I need to get milk?
I love Sam's Club. I love Sam's Club. I take the pickup truck and I load it up.
I'm going camping at home.
Big old bags of toilet paper, like 48 rolls. People are like, what is going on up there? So you just don't want to know. Shitty.
I go outside, I see aliens, and I shit my pants.
I know.
Sorry, y'all. I'm still kind of in aliens gear.
Hey! Aliens are all good.
It's not Aliens Week. Hush.
That's what I'm saying. We got to switch weeks. All right, so Shannon, we've had 2 weeks of talking about ancient mysteries, and we actually had some pretty cool stuff come up with what was presented with Ashley and David doing some presentations. So kind of tell us a little bit about, some of your favorite locations, and we'll talk about some of the ones they shared.
Well, my favorite one's always going to be the one I did the article for the website, and that's Roanoke. That will always be number one to me. Easter Island is my second favorite, and that's what, if I remember right, David led off the whole week with Easter Island. And I remember, back when they found there were actually bodies to those statues, that just like made my whole year. Because that was something you did when we were growing up. You didn't know there was more to them than they are now.
Yeah.
And, now that they've been digging them up. And so it's kind of gotten more mysterious than it was when we first learned about it when we were kids. I think one of the other ones that I was surprised about, I really didn't know a whole lot about, was the Ailstones. Yes. I had never heard of those before. And we started doing, research for the Education Week. I came across those, and I was like, I really want to find out more about theirs, but there's not a whole lot on it. What we put up on the NPS main page is basically what we could find. And I'd like to see somebody do a bigger study on those.
Now, where are the Ailstones again?
Sweden.
That's right. Because when I was working on doing the graphics for David that week, I was like, wow, that's is that Stonehenge? And then I started looking at other ones. I'm like, what is this? And then I kind of get sidetracked. Wow, that's kind of cool. And I'm like reading, I'm like, okay, I need to wait until it comes out on the page.
And then, we had the big one with Atlantis, which everybody has their opinions about that. And they kind of go back and forth between Atlantis and Lemur. I cannot get that word out of my mouth. The lost continent of Mu.
Yes.
Also knows another word I cannot say. And those two, because the lost continent thing is a big thing, and everybody's always trying to figure out, what happened, where it was, and how it couldn't possibly be there. A whole continent just couldn't disappear. There's no way. And, so that sparked some good conversation when we had those up those days.
Well, the thing I think we need to keep in mind is, with the shifting of tectonics, you had Pangea at one point in time, which was, the entire dry land base. And that as it spread apart and everything started, sinking and whatnot, it would not be too hard for those plates to shift and basically just kind of absorb that, that section of land, no matter how big it is. I mean, you have to take into consideration how much the Earth has changed over the years, and the sheer idea of the continents colliding. I mean, I live in the Rocky Mountains, so I have the opportunity all the time to see, the remnants of collision of plates. And so it wouldn't surprise me at all when if they shifted out, that they could lose a huge chunk of land. Mm-hmm.
Well, you think about how much of the Earth is water as opposed to how much land we've got now. I mean, even if those continents had existed, we'd still have more water, and you still got all that uncharted territory. Look how long it took them to find the Titanic.
Yep.
I know.
Pretty much knew where, had a general idea where that went down, and it still took them to 1996, 97 to find it.
Well, the ocean holds. I believe that the ocean is really kind of our last frontier, ocean and space. I mean, there are oceanic. There's rifts in the ocean that they can't get to the bottom of because of the pressure. I mean, there's millions of species of fish and things down there that they're yet to be discovered. I mean, I am very interested in that. I think it's amazing. I scuba dive too. My husband and I both do. And I mean, my lowest dive is 80 feet. So, I mean, that's a hideously long way from, where you need to be, but it's still amazing just to get down there. And it's very easy to lose stuff down there too. I mean, because of the shifting of the floor of the ocean. I mean, sedimentary layers alone would cover something fairly quickly.
Well, and plus you've got all the volcanic activity, the underwater volcanoes doing the same thing underwater that it did to Pompeii.
Yeah.
They may never find them. Or we could make Sherry happy and say the aliens came and took the whole continent and it went into space instead of underwater.
Well, you got to keep in mind too, water is the most corrosive substance on Earth. It's the least, it takes the most amount of time, but it is the most corrosive substance on the planet. I mean, look at the Grand Canyon. I mean, water will eventually wear it away.
Yeah.
So to think, that something has lasted underwater, with the deteriorators, the salt contents, and those types of things, and a lot of things were created from limestone back then too. So it wouldn't, the deterioration factor is just an absolute given. But I mean, I would just love for them to find some kind of structure down there, and using sonar or radar or anything like that. I think that'd be so amazing. But of course, the second they did too, that there'd be yahoos left and right out there trying to get into it
everywhere.
Well, the next thing you know, we'd all be visiting the Atlantis exhibit like we do the Titanic exhibit, and getting to touch a piece of it, and having people doing ghost investigations in the building where the tour is, because the Titanic stuff is housed here in Atlanta. So even though some of it travels, a good chunk of it stays here. And they've got it set up in a place where you go down, they brought up part of it. Is it the hull, I think? And you can actually stick your hand in and touch it. And I have to be honest, that was one of the coolest things I ever did. Now I didn't get to do a ghost investigation there like some of the other places have. Being able to say I touched the Titanic was pretty cool. So I could see, especially since Atlantis was supposed to be known for having such advanced technology for their time, I would love to see some proof of that.
I think so. Well, and I was watching, and I can't even remember exactly what it was on, but we were watching something on the History Channel the other night, and they were talking about the differences between concrete and what they built, like some of the Roman columns and stuff with. And they were talking about one key element in it actually came from like a volcanic ash, and how it was able to really hold things together, where our modern day concrete just erodes basically. And so they were talking about how does it stay together. Well, it would be interesting to see Atlantis at the bottom of the ocean when we talk about water kind of eating away at stuff, just to kind of see what the composition is of some of the columns and stuff from back then.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and too, you have to think of the sheer pressure of the water and the weight too. If you're looking at every gallon weighing 8 pounds, that's just a mind-boggling and very staggering amount of weight on that stuff. And I don't know, like I said, the paranormal, I was kind of iffy about being buried before I ever started researching and getting into the paranormal, and now I'm totally paranoid about it. I'm totally gonna be cremated.
You're like, I'm done.
Oh hell no! But nobody's gonna dig my ass up in 100 years. 9,500 years. I mean, it's not like that's just seriously. Like somebody, these ancient mysteries are talking about the Egyptian exhibits. They had a beautiful one of Tutankhamun in Denver for a period of time. I mean, seriously, can't you just see them wherever they are going, put that back,
right?
Please.
Hello.
And with my luck, 500 or 600 years, my company come to the top.
Like, no, leave me alone. Leave me alone.
Well, and then, we had some, I can't remember now which one had the better discussions, but the 2 days we did El Dorado and the Fountain of Youth. Those were both good discussion days too. The El Dorado one I like over the Fountain of Youth because people look for that one all over the world. I know they're supposed to be the main one, and that's how Florida was discovered and all that. But El Dorado's, more the Indiana Jones type ancient history. Actually, everybody wants to find it. So that one was a real good day too.
Well, I like the fact that David's bringing, worldly stuff in. Gosh, what I wouldn't give to be able to go over there and just meander for a month, and getting his perspective on, what's hype and what's actually, something that's got some substance to it, that's more considerable. And, like you were talking about the L-stones, that's something I hadn't come across yet. I think that's wonderful that we got that opportunity.
Well, and we've got the Amazon Stonehenge too. I didn't know about that one until we started looking into topics. I did not realize they had found one that was almost the same as the one in England.
See, that's very interesting. Now, I mean, what are the? It's kind of like with some of the ancient tribes and peoples having their recollection of star people, like the African tribe, the Dogma, you know, having the same kind of figures that they recorded as, you know, the Anasazis and the Mayans did. I mean, for that to exist, you know, almost exactly the same as it does at Stonehenge, tells you that, you know, that something was going on and they were traveling. These people, you know.
Well, yeah, they had to have had some kind of communication on a mass scale, because you don't just have groups of people around the world simultaneously coming up with the same ideas on their own.
And creating such mathematically specific structures. I mean, Stonehenge still baffles people in regards to that. I mean, and that's kind of where I come up, you know, that's kind of where I'm led into, you know, otherworldly influence, you know?
Mm-hmm. Well, and you know, for them to have repeated it somewhere else, did it have something to tie into a religion or a belief that, you know, they ventured off to start off a new colony or you know, whatnot, and are they reestablishing that same practice there? I mean, we really don't know.
Well, you know, I could see, I mean, if you think about it on a small scale, I mean, you could see whoever constructed Stonehenge going to Sweden, you know, and doing it on a smaller scale there. The distance between the Amazon and, was it Salisbury Plain, is so vast. I mean, you just didn't get in a boat and row over and end up there.
You didn't just get on a plane and just, you know, go like we do now. I mean, it was a big thing.
You know, it taken months, you know, for that journey. And, you know, we all know how many people died just coming over to America on the Mayflower. You know, it was not an easy.
Well, I think it's a matter of getting the stones, you know, put in place and taken from where they originated, too.
I would love to see a geological comparison of the stones between the two.
Yeah. I like to see.
Well, the three.
Yeah, I'd like to see them geographically on a map to see what they encompass. You know, like their triangulation.
Yeah.
To see, you know, to see if they're
lines.
Yeah, well, and to see if the structure itself, because Stonehenge is set up in a way it aligns with constellations and with the sun and the moon. I'd like to see if, you know, that was parallel with the other two structures, or if they complement each other somehow.
If there was a reason for them somehow,
Yeah.
some way. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, there's, like I said, you know, there's so many amazing things out there, and you know, part of my concern with some of the ancient mysteries is that it's so commercialized. You know, Egypt is just inundated with people going on the tours and going through the, you know, Valley of the Gods and things like that. I mean, any genuine, I mean, history that it might have held is, you know, is piece by piece it's being taken away by us visiting and going there. Nothing's really preserved. I mean, of course they've got rules and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean,
it's not preserved in the manner that it should be.
Well, that's kind of where it makes me giggle. Is everybody's like, when people say that, you know, they're having a haunting because they're on an ancient Indian burial ground. I just have to roll my eyes because A, there's not that many, and B, they don't tell you where they're at because they don't want you touching their stuff.
Mm-hmm. They have a respect.
Well, you know, I know our tribal elders, I mean, that is a huge thing. You do not speak of it. And you know, if you're privy enough to learn where these things are, you know, it's a matter of honor, it's a matter of family, and it's a matter of people not to speak of it. You know,
well, it's down here, and I don't know how it is in other places, but in Georgia, you know, there's two sections, one in North Georgia and one in South Georgia, and we've been to both, that are big commercialized Indian Mountain areas, and they're very well taken care of. They're very well manicured. We went to one a couple of weekends ago that I had never been to before, and I got so upset when we got there because it's in a state park, and the state park office gift shop / museum is actually built into one of the mounds that an archaeological person whose last name was Sears did the archaeological dig there in the 40s. And it turned out he was digging into a burial mound because they found skeletons in it. And when they built the museum, when you go in now, you're actually inside the actual Indian mound. And they've got this big sign when you walk in that says, I'm paraphrasing, I can't remember exactly what it said, but because people have a problem with this, the skeletons that you see in here are replicas of the ones that were originally found. And they did. I talked to the girl in there, and they had dug up these bodies and had exact measurement replicas made and placed the same way they dug them up. And you're actually walking around inside the burial mound, and that was just creepy.
It's almost disgraceful that, they've done that. They've kind of bothered the resting place, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was walking through that whole place going, don't come home with me, don't come home with me, nobody come home with me, I didn't do this.
No free rides anywhere.
Well, we had, we got contacted by the Georgia DNR several months ago to look into burial mounds, again, down in South Georgia that are not open to the public because there had been some stuff going on there and they wanted our opinion. And these were what I call wild mounds. They were grown up. The grass wasn't cut around them. This was way back in the woods. You had to hike to get back to them. But you had, the 25-foot temple mound. You had the burrows. You had the shaman mounds. You had the burial mounds. But they were undisturbed. And, they had done a couple of archaeological investigations there, but they hadn't dug anything out. Because down here, when they did the Creek Indian removal in 1836, the white men came in and took all this land and farmed it. I mean, they were growing crops around these Indian mounds, and they dig some of them out, some of them they left. So there's not as many here as there used to be. But it was really kind of neat to be back in that area where the public couldn't go to see, what had happened to them. But yeah, that one with the museum in it, I don't think I could ever go back there.
No, the one client that made me kind of giggle was this family in New Jersey was talking about how their house is built on grounds, and I was kind of shocked. I mean, she Google Map it, and I personally believe it was kind of unlikely, because then there were other telltale signs that I don't think she was completely forthcoming. You know how they tell you the story once, and all of a sudden it gets bigger, and then this part gets bigger, and this part's got tons of detail that before it was just kind of a secondary thought.
Well, that's because each year that goes by, it gets cooler to have had your house built on an Indian burial ground.
Well, and here we're talking about ancient mysteries, you know what I mean, and those types of things. The United States has got some mysteries going on still. It may not be quite ancient. It's not even a couple hundred years old, but we've got some very interesting things that go on here.
Oh, yeah. We've got Oak Island. We've got Roanoke. We've got Jamestown. Oak Island's one of my favorite American ones. Well, I say it's American because it's over on this side. I mean, it's actually Nova Scotia. It's North America. It's not United States. But I love that one. Did you see that series they had on TV last year about the men that had bought the island and were trying to figure out what was going on? I think it was a 6-episode thing. And of course, in the last episode, they found a piece of gold or something. So I'm waiting to see if that's going to come back. That one fascinates me.
Nice. You're so quiet, Miss Sherry. What are you doing?
Did you see the page today? I'm quiet.
Oh, and I keep interrupting Candy, so I'm going to be quiet. Candy,
No, don't. No.
Well, which one are you going to bring up to do with American?
Well, I'm really fascinated. I'm still really fascinated with the Civil War, actually. I know that's not ancient, but I'm so taken back. I'm so taken with that stuff. The French Quarter, completely taken with that. Well, I don't know. There's just a lot of things. I want to get into South America and go down and see the Mayan ruins and things like that. I mean, there's just a lot of things I don't think that we give consideration to. You know what I mean? We're only looking at stuff, that like Stonehenge. That's a big one. Easter Island again.
Stuff.
When you and I were talking about me becoming department chair, and I was like, okay, what do you consider ancient? Because, like I said, Roanoke is and always will be my favorite one. But that's only a few hundred years old. And, you told me as long as it's 200 years old, we're good. And I'm like, yeah, but you're still missing out on stuff. And, ancient mysteries is kind of a misnomer for the things that you and I are interested in, because all other stuff's been done.
It's subjective. You ask a 4-year-old what ancient is, and they're going to point at you and I.
Yes, I know.
Right? So I'm saying, even Chernobyl, I think, is amazingly interesting. And I'm kind of morbid like that.
What's the name of that town is it Ohio? The one that's on fire underneath it?
We have a coal vein here in Colorado that's on fire, and it's been on fire for like 20 years near Glenwood.
No, it's kind of up north on the East Coast, and the town, it doesn't exist anymore. People post pictures of the road closed signs all the time because everything's burned up because of that fascinates me.
Okay.
It's interesting stuff, and it doesn't have anything to do with something that happened there as much as it is kind of how the earth itself, we were talking about the oceans and species that we haven't even labeled yet and things that we haven't seen. It's so interesting, just the earth itself and structures and things that are built and things that happen and the movement, and it's just so interesting. You know what I mean?
Well, maybe we could just take ancient mysteries and take the ancient off of it and just make it mysteries department. I mean, it sounds a little Hogwarts, but it might work.
Centralia. It's in Pennsylvania. That's the one I'm thinking about.
Centralia. I've heard that one.
Yeah, no. Up here in Colorado, in Glenwood Springs, it's where Doc Holliday died, actually, of tuberculosis. There's a vein of coal that's been burning for like 25 years, and it's just very interesting. I mean, it's an amazing little place, to be honest with you. I mean, there's so many pieces of American history that we haven't even touched. And two, I'm sure if we went to Europe, they'd laugh at us, because we're all, oh, it's 150 years old. And they're like, dude, I've got shoes that old. What are you talking about?
Well, it's like if you're an Eddie Izzard fan, which is, he's big in our house, one of his stand-up things is, I live in Europe where the history comes from. We're not like in America where we say, and we put it back to the way it was 50 years ago today. And, we get excited over stuff. It's like here in our county, we've got a couple of houses that were built in 1814 and 1826, and we just think that's the best thing in the world. I don't know what I would do if I went to Europe and was actually standing in something, that was built in 1200 AD, or, Dave's been to Israel and, done everything over there, and it's just like, I don't know how I'd react in the face of that kind of history.
Yeah. Well, and they have to remember they got excited when, America was found. So, I mean, come on, let us be excited about our stuff. Give us some credit. I think it would be cool just to take, a boo bus is how we call it. Take a boo bus and just go travel, over there in Europe and look at some of this stuff and look at some of the old things. And, I would love to take a year. God, I'd have to win the lottery, but I would love to take a year and just go over there and just see and experience and visit and touch and take pictures and do that kind of stuff just to say, I did it. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh, I totally agree. I think my husband's been to Ireland and Africa, and Belize and how he's been all over the world, and and he gets to see that neat stuff. You know what I mean? I'm totally jealous. He goes out on these mine sites, which are usually very remote and well guarded, and he gets to see natural habitat. Like when he was over there the last time, they sidled him up right next to the rainforest, and he's a plant fanatic, loves them. So he's out there trying to work. And, I bet we have 60 or 70 plants in this house, and not one is mine. I raise the kids. He can take care of the plants.
He can raise the other kids, right?
Right, the dogs. Not like the dogs, they listen.
Oh my gosh.
They pee outside.
So Shannon, what other, we've still got, another week. Photography's taking over next week for Ancient Mysteries, which I still kind of have to get on that with the photo team. But, I'm kind of wondering, is there any ancient mystery that, Stonehenge has been talked about a lot, Easter Island, that type of thing. Is there one that's kind of as interesting as those, but isn't talked about as much?
Pompeii,
yeah, Pompeii is a huge one for me, especially with the new discoveries that they've had. Because I live on the History Channel when I can, so
I know Katie does.
But now they come up.
I said I know you love the History Channel too.
I do. 3 lives. I got asked by a talent scout to submit an audition video, and so for the History Channel, and I did it, and he said, "Be yourself." So
she was herself.
I choke sometimes, and I talk backwards. I have children; they have screwed me up completely. I mean, I'm probably working on a half a cell, and then NPS goes, "Yeah." Yeah, it's done. Well, I was sitting there, I was like, "Hi, my name's Candy Meehan. I'm 43, and I said a wife of 3 and a mother of 1. I said, no. I said, I only have 1 wife. I'm like, no wives. My husband's in the background just dying laughing, and I'm sitting here, and I was like, this crap is complicated, and I just started to laugh, and honestly, that's who I am. I mean, I speak dyslexic. I don't write dyslexic. I'm sure people think I'm Yoda or some shit. Am I happy? I swear to God.
It was priceless. It was a priceless video. I will give you that.
Then the talent scout got back a hold of me, and he laughed. He goes, you did a great job. And I'm like, you say that to all the girls. He goes, no, really, you were funny. I had to watch it 3 times. I'm like, I didn't know whether to be offended or what. I was like, okay.
So does that mean it's good or it's bad?
I don't give a shit. I'm so paranoid about the way I look on camera anyway. I don't take pictures. I don't like people taking pictures of me. It's the weirdest thing. Can you stop? Like that.
Whatever.
Dude, I edit my own selfies. You guys don't get to see the good part of me. Have you seen my hair? I'm serious. Have you seen my hair? What, Ancient Mysteries?
I just want to say, do y'all see what I've had to put up with? Y'all wonder why I'm a little...
She's like, stop talking to me. Edit this. Do you like mustard? We were sitting there talking one day, and I was trying to make a sandwich, and it was fucking with me talking to Sherry. And sorry, I didn't mean to cuss.
It's our show. We can do what we want.
Yeah. Anyway, I was trying to make a sandwich, and I was talking to Sherry. And I don't know what happened, but I ended up putting sugar on it. And I'm sitting there, and I'm figuring out why. It was disgusting. I'm like, it wasn't salt at all. So I'm sitting there, and me and
Shannon talking the other day about peanut butter sandwiches. Remember that?
Yeah, I was like, you gotta have peanut butter and mayonnaise and bananas. And Sherry's like, mayonnaise? And I was like, you've never had a peanut butter, mayonnaise, and banana sandwich. I'm disowning you.
I've had peanut butter, honey, and banana.
No, you got
Bananas?
I have an 11-year-old who likes to experiment, and it's at your own risk, you know. But he comes up with some pretty interesting stuff sometimes, and he is a ramen noodle connoisseur, dude.
Oh my lord!
Oh, like he came up and it had cheese and it had corn in it, and I loved it. And he couldn't make it again. He didn't know what he's ADHD. God love him, you know. So he
Deegan would call that prison spread.
After working and dealing with and investing in NPS, I come home and it's kind of fend for yourself night, you know, and you sit there with that frazzled, retarded look on your face, like. I know that a lot of the reps have no idea of what the board of directors do.
We don't do anything. What are you talking about?
Or like people like Shannon do. And
this is the board of director list. See how long?
Sherry, all you do is play with Photoshop all day to keep redoing the reps list.
And I send her stuff. And I send her stuff because I care. I send her stuff because I care, so she has something to do. Otherwise, it would be bad for her. So I am contributing.
You should see the to-do list, Shannon. Y'all laugh. Y'all only see what she gives me on the NPS page.
I wake up at 3:30 in the morning and have to go pee. And I thought of the project I had the science team doing. I did. My husband goes, "What are you doing? Put the phone down." I was like, "Shut up! It's none of your business."
Let me finish this.
I know, right? I got a thought.
How am I disturbing you? Just leave me alone.
Is this in your eyes?
I said, I get up at 4 o'clock in the morning and I go through 600 NPS notification emails before I take a shower. And I'm like, you people never sleep because Candy's posted something or Sherry's posted something not 20 minutes before I got up. And it's, yeah.
I'm not allowed to take my phone to the bathroom anymore. Evidently it's causing some marital issues. He's like, "What are you doing in there?" I was like, "Taking pictures." He goes, "Of what?"
I'm experimenting, damn it. I'm making orbs. Leave me alone.
Oh, don't go about orbs. Don't.
Something to do with ancient mysteries.
Ugh.
Hey, it is a mystery. What Candy does and goes through is a mystery.
Hey, I have to, you know what? I'm so proud because since I've taken over NPS, we've tripled the membership. In less than 9 months, we have tripled the membership.
Damn, we got our reps in the chat room trying to give us some graphics and shit. Can we get this discussion back on track now?
So then make some suggestions.
No. I'm challenging Farrastud. No, not back on topic.
Farrastud. Which one's that?
Jason.
Jason.
That's Jason.
Oh, Jason.
Oh.
Love your tech talk.
Why don't you get working on that? You're so bad.
Never gonna do it.
Jason says in the chat room, we have added 1,200 members in the last 148 hours. Oh, I'm sorry, the last 48 hours. There was a typo. 1,200 members in the last 2 days.
I don't know where they're all coming from either. And there's a lot of comments on the members page, that we're mean or that we're bossy or, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say this out loud and you might want to record me. NPS is a learning format, Unity Education Solutions. Unity does not mean I'm going to hold your hand and pat your butt. I'm going to ask you questions. It means working together towards a common goal. Education, again, asking questions. How do children learn? They ask us questions. How many times have we learned from our children? As much, I'm sure it's as much as they learn from us, to be truthful. And solutions. When you bring a piece of evidence, have Have your supporting information ready, because you will be asked questions. I don't want to see the soul Elvis again. Please stop submitting photos that you do not think the photography team and the reps and the other members can't debunk. Unlawful acts will be met with automatic deletion.
It's happened.
Yeah, and I don't want to see videos of animals or anybody being hurt. If you have to tape that, the little mouse thing, everybody can hear me loud and clear, get off my page. That's not the place for it. Seriously. If we go from an animal, ladies and gentlemen, there's somebody on Facebook that posted a kitten being burned to death on my Facebook page. If we allow the mouse, okay, so then are we going to allow the cat, the dog? How about this? How about we allow hunting videos where they shoot an elk? Are we going to videotape that? Well, here's the thing. It's basic physiology. Any creature that receives a blunt force trauma of that degree to their torso, they're going to excrete fluids out of their ears, their eyes, their nose, their mouth, their bladder, every orifice. That mist you saw of the soul, ladies and gentlemen, was that animal's pee and vomit, because it just got snapped in half. And I mean, I'm appalled people are questioning, do animals have souls? Are you kidding me? You can take an IR camera and put it on a plant and see that it has a different response than the other pieces around it. Just because it doesn't fit some religious box doesn't mean it's not there. And I draw the line. And the fact that how many members have we kicked off the page in the last 48 hours over that video?
A lot.
Yeah.
I had a member argue with me for 45 minutes in private message over it. Just let me play the last 20 seconds. But I don't think I wasn't so disturbed by the mouse being killed. I was disturbed by the individual who felt compelled to record it
and then share it.
I mean, I don't know. And I'm a farm girl. I've hunted all my life. We've raised cattle. I have animals. I mean, I've had to put my own horse down. I'm not 6 years old. I get it, and I'm not a bleeding heart. But there's just some things that where we need to draw a line. I mean, we're supposed to be talking about what's after death.
Well, if you think about it too, I mean, it's like one of the comments you made. We do have younger people on the page because we don't enforce an age rule. What if they decide that they're going to go out there just to do this to see if they can see the spirit leave? They start with a mouse, they go to a snake, they go to a rat. What are they going to go to next just to see if they can see?
And we got a level of there are people out there that would do that.
And we've got a level of culpability. And the person who initially recorded the video, he got something there, right? Whether it was the spirit leaving or it was the animal's excretions. So he's got that. He got that gratification. Is something bigger next? And quite frankly, it's not. Yeah,
well, I took a look at it. I took a look at that video last night for the first time and replayed the portion where everybody thought it was a mist coming out. It bothers me that there's music playing in the background of the video and that this mist, what looks like to me a dust orb type transparency, doesn't even come out of anywhere near the mouse. It actually comes from the concrete and shoots up. And in my opinion, I would question the video for authenticity because it looks like it was faked to me. And this guy put this out there to get attention. So we're not going to feed into that. It's negative in my mind for 100 different reasons. So getting back on track, it's not paranormal. It's just not. It doesn't belong on the NPS page. I wouldn't want to see it. I wouldn't want my kids seeing it. I think if Paisley saw it, she would be in tears because of her love for animals. We have to remember that on our page. We're responsible for, over 35,000 members now? How many of those are young adults or children that we've allowed on the page?
My 13-year-old and my 16-year-old are on the page.
We are responsible for that page.
Angel on Wheels, who is that? You want me to say Paradiola?
That's Buffy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hey, Buffy.
That is Buffy.
Hey, Buffy.
That's Trouble on Wheels, not Angel on Wheels. Okay.
I know, right? Lucifer was an angel.
Elsie wants you to say it one more time.
Paradiola. And there's all different types. And there's different types of paradiola. There's an audio paradiola, a visual paradiola. It's your brain recreating sights and sounds that are familiar to make sense of something that you're visually taking in or auditorily taking in that don't make sense.
Yeah, something that's familiar to you that you're twisting around.
It's just like when you're sitting there talking to your husband, and he says, "I want to do this tonight," and you're like, "You want to what?" You know, and that's not what he said, but you're already. That's a smidge of paradiola.
Wait, that happens every night.
I know, right? That's because I'm psychic.
No readings on this show, young lady.
I want a reading.
Oh, I'm feeling your aura. Sherry, sit still. Oh, yeah. The Anunnaki will visit you.
Again?
You're their love puppet, they said.
I'm never going to get any sleep.
No rest for the wicked, baby.
I know that's right.
Hey,
Poor
Candy.
Shannon. She's like, I have to deal with you guys on the page.
Hey,
Get
Candy.
the crap out.
Candy.
Yeah.
For a measly $400, I'll get that curse off of you.
400 bucks. Oh, my Eric. Will you send me a certificate and show me you're certified?
Oh, I actually am certified.
Don't worry, I got a lady here that will do it for tree fitting. And she'll do it on the internet. I mean, you'd have to come here, the whole 9 yards, and she can sit there and tell me that I have somebody in my family who their name starts with an N. Yeah, who doesn't? You know?
Sherry, Candy, Shannon.
That I'm having emotional distress. No shit. I don't know. I have a 13-year-old daughter. Yeah, I got emotional stress. You know, the generalities kill me. You know, shaman and medicine men and, you know, the ancient spiritualists. You know, I would so give anything to just stand in their presence. Edgar Casey, I would love just to stand next to that man, and if I could have, you know what I mean, and just try to sense him, you know what I mean? You know, everybody's psychic, everybody's a medium, and you know what, ladies and gentlemen, in my opinion, everybody is psychic and medium. There's so much of our brain we don't use. Gut feelings, well, why do you think that is? Because the endings of a ton of your nerves are right there in our core. I mean, there's correlations that we could be making to the mind and the body and the spirit that we're not. And if we could find some kind of symbiosis with all of these three and then take it and apply it to the paranormal, where we used our reason and our logic to balance our spiritual feelings, you know, we could meet in the middle. You know, when people get on the page and say, this is what I feel from the picture. Okay, explain to me why that is, and tell me about your personal experience that accompanied it, because this photographic evidence that you're providing to me doesn't substantiate your claim. It's one picture. You know? And that's
just one.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and it's hard for people to do. And, you know, especially when they're photoshopping it. It's hard for them to mess up three. You know? And to me, that's such a waste of time. If you're gonna apply that much effort, use your powers for good, not evil. You know, help us move forward. Help us build a better mousetrap. Yeah, I shouldn't have said that either. But I mean, help us. Mousetrap. What? What happened?
I said, don't put it on NPS.
I'm shocked. You know what I mean? I'm shocked. Everything.
A ghost trap. We got to build a better ghost trap.
Yeah. Well, and you know, and it's the same thing. It's like the ancient mysteries can be applied to what we're doing in the paranormal right now. It's researching cold cases, except for the ancient mysteries. There's no eyewitnesses.
Well, there's no eyewitnesses, and there's really nothing to compare it to until you do the research on it.
too, and the original sites have been really distorted. You know what I mean? And, Shannon, I'd like to go ahead and extend that to you. Anything over 50 years old, you're stateside. You know what I mean? Let's open your parameters. Well, because there's probably some houses, in Kansas, in Chautauqua, Kansas, there's a home that was part of the Underground Railroad. And when the tornado that blew down Carl Junction, that F4 tornado that wiped out the town, that structure still stands. And I've never seen anybody ever investigate it or do anything on it. And that is a living piece of history that is just crumbling away. Nobody knows its story. And I mean, the last generations tied to it, are going away. It's like with the Holocaust, the last Holocaust survivor, or Auschwitz or something like that, died not too long ago. And unfortunately, we did get their story, but there's still so much there, And I tend to, for my own spiritual self, I tend to shy away from mass graves. I don't want to go to Auschwitz or any of the concentration camps. I don't want to go to Ground Zero in New York. I'm not real. I don't want to go to Gettysburg. I would like the history of it, certainly, but I don't know, because how many people have been there already? You know what I mean? And to tap into that, I mean, I acknowledge the pain. I can't really even put my mind around that kind of loss or suffering.
Well, you have to keep in mind with giving me that, that's the whole format of, what Dave and I are doing for PBS. That is what it is. Going places people have not been and explaining what's happening.
So should we rename it Department of Mysteries?
That's fine with me.
I've got to wear the hat, man. You've got to wear the hat. Okay?
What's
If you say Cruciato curse at me, that's it.
We need to look at some places for next week, maybe, Shannon, some new places for the photography team to kind of come up with some stuff.
We need a new graphic, Sherry.
Dude, hello. Challenge me with graphics, please. I can do those in my sleep. Ask Candy. She asked for it at night, poof, it's there the next morning. Sometimes it's there before she's even got it out on the keyboard and I'm reading her mind. That's happened a couple of times.
At least you're not doing them in the bathroom.
Hey!
Hey, I will leave that to Candy.
I did not mock your process.
You build your orbs where you want to build your orbs.
Right. My particles.
I will try to come up with some new things for you for next week.
Yeah, I'll put Pompeii on the list too, just because it's something that hasn't been talked about as much. And that way we can at least kind of pitch some additional things to come up with. The photography team, while we do a lot of pictures and so forth, it's not just about, like with aliens and UFOs, coming out with some interesting pictures just so you can see the pictures, but it's more about what's behind the picture and what's in the picture to get your mind going and looking and researching, especially with ancient mysteries.
I got one you can start with.
How about the Bermuda Triangle?
I would love
that one.
Or Amelia Earhart.
Effigy mounds.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, what else?
Yeah, I think we can come up with some good ones.
And I can't be more proud of the job you're already doing, Shannon. You're doing an excellent job. Congratulations on your promotion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just keep that flogger away from the diva.
Poor Alan. What did I do to him sticking in between the two of you?
Alan can hold his own, though.
Oh, yes,
Alan can run with the diva. He can run with the flogger.
Yep. Alan has no problems dealing with us.
His harem.
All Alan has to do is give you that look.
that look even comes through in his PMs.
I know when I get something from Alan, I'm like, oh.
Right. Well, no, I think it kind of makes me giggle because the boys do raise an eyebrow at us sometimes, and ditto. They do some things that I'm like sitting here going, wow, But I'll tell you what, NPS wouldn't be possible without the board of directors, and that's Ken and Sherry and Alex and David and my ADs, and that would be Rob, Allen, and Dan, and my ADDs, Ted,
AADs.
Oh, it's my ADDs.
You gonna pay for that?
Three wives!
No Zach cookie for you.
Whatever.
I'll send you one later.
We're still not friends.
Yep. Shame. Shame. Shane, you assignment.
Now we're communicating. We're reaching new heights. We're communicating gestures.
Yeah, I don't know if it's heights or if it's depths. We're shoot.
How high can you go if you don't know how low you can go? We're a pendulum.
Well, the paranormal exists everywhere, right? High and low.
I know.
Hey, I'm not the one making orbs in the bathroom when we're talking about highs and lows, so...
Dude, I vacuum and dust. Do not start with
We're so bad. Alright, so we are, right at the end of the show. So, Shannon, you want to add any more to Ancient Mysteries? Since, Stud was trying to get us all back on track, and we just kind of... Yeah, no.
Hey, no, I've just been given a new time frame. Y'all are going to be flooded with stuff. So, look out. That's all I got to say right now.
right on.
Hey, just remember, Boss Bitch gave the order.
Or what was that one?
The one for Shannon to be able to go, what was it, 50?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
50.
I think that'll broaden the spectrum. You know what I mean?
This is sad because I'm 46, so I'm almost going to be considered an ancient mystery.
Ow!
You gonna pay for that one?
I don't want to talk about it.
Tisk. All right, well, you guys, we are talking about Ancient Mysteries this month on NPS. Next week, the photo team is going to pick it back up. We kind of took a break this week, so we'll pick it back up next week. If you guys have some favorites that you want to share with us, send them over to Shannon so we can kind of get to looking at them and experimenting with some things with that. So, other than that, Candy, I open the show. I'll let you close it.
Well, right now we'd like to send out a thank you to Blessed Bee, www.blessedbe.cc. It's your online one-stop occult shop. Anything you need: sage, runes, tarot cards. And if you can't find it, just ask. We'll find it for you. And we'd like to invite everyone to please visit us on our Facebook page, the National Paranormal Society. And if you would also please visit us at our website, it's www.national-paranormal-society.org. Check out Shannon's department, Ancient Mysteries, which is now not so ancient, so we're just going to call it Mystery.
Love it.
Yep. Bye to Shannon's husband. Hi. Hi, Dad.
What's up? See, he's like, no, I got to deal with this Ancient Mystery shit.
Right.